Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the June 2026 edition of the VR Game Showcase co-stream. I will be streaming it here alone. I gotta be honest. I kind of forgot about this thing until last night when somebody during Gamescast said, "Hey, you're streaming the VR Game Showcase tomorrow?" And I said, "Oh, that's tomorrow." And I was like, "I don't know, man. I don't know." But the deal I made with you guys was that I will stream the showcase today. As long as you guys don't mind if I stream the next Nintendo Direct right here on Without Parole. So tune in for that. Obviously, the deal has been made, signed in blood. You're all here for it. It wasn't my decision. This was you guys. But hopefully everyone's doing well. I do have to say that no, Popsicle, I'm not alone. I'm with all of you fine felines. I probably would have invited Jamie if I had remembered this before if I had been reminded about it sometime before 8 p.m. last night. By that time, I'm pretty sure that Jamie was sleeping, and I didn't want to roll the dice and be like, "Hey, what you?" He's like furiously typing a DM to somebody on Discord and being like, "I know you're sleeping, but when you wake up and maybe you see this, maybe you'll possibly want to be my co-host for the show." Listen, it reeks of desperation, and I don't want Jamie to think I'm desperate. Hopefully you're all having a nice day. Hopefully you're all doing well today. This is... Oh. I got Tornado. I didn't know if she was back there. So yeah, no, I'm definitely not alone. Good call. I thought you were being all meta, Popsicle, saying that I got all you guys here with me. And like I said, I do have all of you guys here with me. I do think that any reason to celebrate VR, any VR showcase, whatever it is, even if it's like an upload VR showcase, that tend to be a little bit lower quality. Don't mean that disparagingly. I just mean they focus on, really small. What are you being on about back there? Really small indie games that kind of all end up looking the same, and it just gets a little bit. There's a little bit of fatigue that sets in about 15 minutes into any upload VR showcase. Jamie tends to have a little bit of a higher quality to his, which I'm excited about. That being said, I don't know exactly how much PSVR 2 content is going to be there today, because according to Jamie himself, over on Reddit, he wrote, "Heads up, this month's VR Game Showcase is lighter for PSVR 2. A bit of insight as to why. This is going to sound familiar to anyone who's got their finger on the pulse. They've got their thumb on the gear. They've got their nose in the cocaine." Sorry, that was a poorly timed sniff on my part. This is all I need, just the coffee, I promise. Because we've been through this before. This is he said this the last time too. He says, "Hey all, Jamie from VR Game Showcase here. About 7 or 8 months ago, I was here to give you a heads up that the November 2025 VR Game Showcase would be light on PSVR 2 titles. Now I'm here, sirens on my end, to do that again for our June 23rd show, which we just announced. We have some PSVR 2 titles to talk about this time around. Our friends at Flat to VR taking part, and have some really cool existing game." I thought it said exciting, and I had to check my eyes 4 times just to make sure it said existing. Cool existing game updates to share. In other words, games that have already been announced that we're just getting some updates on. But the majority of games are for PC, VR, and or Quest. I thought I'd give you a bit of insight as to why this sometimes happens, other than the usual reasons like the studio's taking a wait-and-see approach to the platform, which does happen quite a bit. I'm going to give Jamie some credit here. The number of studios that are like, that tell me behind the scenes, "Bro, that is totally on our roadmap, but we need the Quest version or the Steam version or whatever to be successful first before we commit to the PSVR 2 version." And I don't know, Jamie might get into this in a second here, so sorry if I'm jumping the gun and saying stuff that he's already going to be saying, but it's true. It is so much more expensive to develop for PSVR 2, and usually it pays off. Right, we all know that games sell better on PSVR 2 for the most part, and so it's usually worth the price of admission to get a dev kit, to spend all the time porting the game, to spend all the time that usually isn't planned going through QA. Right, sometimes your port time that you planned, oh, it's going to take me 6 months or 8 months or 9 months to port to PSVR 2. Sometimes you got to tack on an extra 6 months just to get through QA, because sometimes it's rigorous. Right. And I know it's a dumb thing to say, especially when we get all these shovelware games, but it's true. Like, the shovelware games somehow get through Sony's QA. They've got the Easy Pass installed on their dev kit somehow, and they just sail right through that lane without paying the toll. So, Sony's going to get that shit figured out. But for games like Grimlord that said, oh yeah, we'll be on the store next month, that was like 4 months ago. Right. And so, that's just the most recent example of these kind of games that are dealing with that kind of thing. So, so the wait and see approach, I think a lot of these developers know that it's cost prohibitive and time prohibitive. And there's a level of expertise, I think, that some of these developers just don't really have. So it's great that, there's studios like VR Monkey out there, like Pingle Studio, like Flat to VR, who can handle the rough road of porting PSVR 2 for them. So yeah, but I guess he's going to get into some other reasons here, and hopefully I didn't already talk about it. He said, for example, we've planned for multiple big PSVR 2 reveals in the past that instead ended up being part of State of Plays or PlayStation blog posts, not naming any names, but some of the big PSVR 2 title reveals of the past 2 years were originally planned for VR Game Showcase before Sony offered those spots. This isn't a hard feelings post. VR Game Showcase has done incredibly well over the past 2 years, but we can't compete with Sony's level of reach, etc., even if we know our audience is dialed into the scene and more likely to wishlist/grab games when they show up on VR Game Showcase. This is, I was gonna say this is an excellent point, because I've also had these discussions. Some of you guys might know that I have been kind of tinkering with the idea of having my own Without Parole showcase, focused only on PSVR 2 games. Where else are you going to find that? Right? Where else are you going to find that? VR Game Showcase isn't going to do it. Upload VR isn't going to do it. The only place that's going to have a dedicated PSVR 2 games showcase is fucking right here, right? Any other channel is going to do a mix of VR stuff, but Without Parole is the only one that would ever have a dedicated PSVR 2 showcase. We've done it before. We've done it multiple times, which means I've got good connections with a lot of these studios. I can make it happen. I just want to make sure it's worthwhile. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time, because it takes like a fucking month of round the clock work, constantly check, you're emailing so much, right? And sometimes you'll spend hours and hours and hours. You spend a whole day emailing, right? When it gets to the end of the month, you realize you spend hours emailing back and forth and back and forth and back and forth just to not secure anything, right? You could spend a whole day of that month just corresponding with people and having them be like, well, what are you interested in? Well, is a release date enough? Is this happening? Let me show you what we have. And then they show something and it doesn't look very good. And you're like, whoa, I don't want you guys to show your game in this state. That's happened before. I have literally told the developer, don't show your game if it looks like this, because you're not going to get any wish lists. You're not going to get, the initial impression from everybody, if they remember your game, is going to be a bad one. And I don't want to do that. I want this to be a place where we can like boost VR and not give people a reason to shit on VR. So trust me, it takes a lot of work to do these things. I know what Jamie's going through, every few months here. It's a lot of corresponding with people. And then of course, getting the final look and sound and everything, and filming all the parts and putting it all together is just like, that's a week of round the clock editing on top of everything else. So, the interesting thing though, is that he references State of Plays, and that's just not a thing anymore, right? Because it has now been 3 or 4 State of Plays where we have yet to see a PSVR 2 game. I think that ship has sailed. I think we are done seeing PSVR 2 games at State of Play. I think that's the feeling I get. Sony's had plenty of opportunities to reveal games like EXD or Forefront or Secret of the Mimic. Did they reveal Secret of the Mimic at a State of Play? I don't know. It would have been like fucking forever ago though. But they could have re-revealed it, right, after that long silence. But Automa they had plenty of opportunities to reveal these really, higher profile games, and then didn't. So, but, and I would love to see some analytics on how the PlayStation blog does. The PlayStation blog like gets zero traction, right? It's I don't know who's going to read that on a regular basis. I don't know if anybody checks in on that on a daily basis to get their like PlayStation or PSVR 2 news. I honestly feel like Sony puts out information on the blog for content creators like me to go and grab it and make a video on. Right? That's what it feels like. Because the only time there's ever solid engagement over on the PlayStation blog is when we do some game cat op shit, right? And when we say, "Oh, there's a Resident Evil post, let's go flood the comments," and we flood the comments with comments about how we want Requiem on PlayStation VR 2, and those are the only comments that article gets. We flooded one with like 750 comments, and I think 748 of them were us. So it's just not a thing, right? It's just not really a thing at all. So Sony swooping in and being like, "Oh no, we want that on our platform. We want that on the blog." It's just like, all right, fine, right? And I guess when you look at it like that, it's like, you know, if you do look at it like as a place for like people like me and Jamie and everybody else to go and get their information from, and, you know, download videos and, you know, read through all the text to make our own content about it, then yeah, maybe it's reaching a lot more people. You know, I looked at the VR Game Showcase channel, and they only have like 8,000 subscribers, right? Which is kind of crazy. Why would the VR Game Showcase channel only have 8,000 subscribers? Is it because people like me are more sirens on my end? People like me are co-streaming it, and you guys are choosing to watch it with me? I don't know the answer, right? And so there is a lot of that crossover issue that pertains to, you know, how developers are going to reveal their games for PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2, and, you know, the content creators and all that. So I get what Jamie's saying, but I don't think that state of plays are any longer part of the conversation. I think we can lay that one to rest. Motorcycles on my end. He said it's also hard for studios to commit to things like release dates, window announcements, etc. on PSVR 2, thanks to tough certification standards. Okay, we did make it here. From Sony itself, making release approval uncertain. So that's an entire beat type that we can secure easily for Quest and PC. That's much tougher to nail down for PSVR 2. Exactly. Again, going back to my experience with these developers, I have absolutely seen them say, the best we can do is tell you that it's coming sometime in 2027. And I was like, okay. I mean, like, that's fine by me, right? I think a lot of people are fine with that. I think most people that are in this community don't care if our release date is next month, next week. We just want to know it's coming, right? We just want a commitment. We just want to know that, yep, the port is in development, and you guys don't want to commit. That's fine. That's fair, right? I actually think that's smart. Because the last thing you want to do, I think the negativity that comes with delaying your game and saying, "Oh, we didn't quite make this release date, let's push it back a couple months. Oh, we didn't make this one either, let's push it back a couple more months." And the next thing you know, you have an Ace of Thunder situation where, like, it gets announced and it's not out for 2 years, and people, like, definitely lost some enthusiasm over the title between the time it was announced and the time it actually came out. So I get that too. He goes, so all of these things add up to make PSVR 2 the hardest platform to secure content for, which is tough because it's the headset we personally use and enjoy the most, both on PS5 and PC. This isn't meant to be a doom and gloom post for the platform. We're currently planning some big beats for PSVR 2, specifically in future shows, which obviously all comes down to the above caveats. But I do hope you understand that many of these factors are out of our control. With that said, we're hoping that you tune in on June 23rd. That's today. We have 5+ new game announcements. 5+. So not 4 and not 5. More than 5. So 6. It sounds like the number. Which means, otherwise, wouldn't you say 6+? If it's 7? I'm just saying. It's advertising speak, right? We have more than 5 games to show you. More than 5 new game announcements. So 6 then. Got it. Also, I love Jamie. If anybody thinks I'm giving Jamie a hard time, I'm not. I am. I mean, I'm giving him a hard time, but we are super, super friendly behind the scenes, and I have a level of trust in him that I have for very few people, and so he and I talk pretty openly behind the scenes about all sorts of shit. In fact, he knows more about what's happening on this channel than even most of my co-hosts do. So yeah, so please understand that even if I give Jamie a hard time and kind of poke fun at him, I hope he does the same thing right back. That's what I do with my friends. Says, which means you'll probably see some great games. He didn't say probably. Why did I say probably? Which means you will see some great games that are likely to come to PSVR 2 in the future. Plus big updates on announced projects. It'll be a good one. Excellent. Good post. I feel like that clarified things really well. I think it was really, really important to set expectations because you guys know, especially when we stream a state of play, we go in and we say, we always do polls. How many PSVR 2 games do you expect to see? And it used to be 2 was the standard. We used to say, oh yeah, if we see 2, then it'll be a standard thing. We'll be very happy. No problems. Let's go with it. And, if you expect to get 2 and you get none, that's kind of a problem, right? Anyway, so now we have the proper expectations set. Who's Free Pipe 757? Is that me? That's not my Reddit name. My name on Reddit is That Would Be Dark. Who's Free Pipe? I have no idea what that is. All right, excellent. All right, let's see what you guys are up to. Yeah, shout out to Game Cato. Somebody was just asking where you were at the beginning of the show. They said you hadn't been around very much lately, but I see you pop in here and there. I know that you took a little bit of time off and got away from, I don't know if it was just VR or gaming in general, or you're just taking some time off from life. But welcome back to life. So yeah, I've seen you've been popping up lately. Game Cato sent 10 without Parole gift memberships. Thank you for your generosity. Remember, you can support this channel in so many different ways. You can be a member, you can give memberships, you can tip during the show. You can support us on Patreon and get on that scroll down below. Atomic Teapot with the Australian 5 says, respect for Jamie giving us the heads up. Still, maybe we might get a peek at Quest games that'll come over later. Exactly. I think that's the important thing to know. I think it's very, very important to look at the games that look good. Look at the ones that we think would perform well on PSVR 2. And then go full force in the game cat ops mode, right? What's the Rustmorn? I keep forgetting the name of the game. Is it Rustmorn that I'm thinking of? The Dead Space looking game. Yeah, I'm just gonna type in Rust and see what pops up. Yeah, Rustmorn. That's good. Oh shit! Everything froze. Any minute. There we go. I have no idea, dude. I have no idea. My computer is so busted that sometimes I think what it is that sometimes my computer tries to access my backup hard drive, which I should just unplug when I'm not using it, and it freezes everything as it tries to access the backup hard drive. I don't know. It feels like an OBS problem. Excuse me. Rustmorn, getting back on topic. It looks great, right? And so I think then we direct all of our attention to a game like that, and we say, hey, your game looks amazing. We all want it on PSVR 2. We bombard the servers, the Discord servers. We leave tons of comments under the debut trailer, and we let them know, hey, there's an appetite for your game over here on PSVR 2. So, and like I've said 1,000 times, if you don't think they're not hearing that, you're out of your goddamn minds. Absolutely out of your minds. Because for wwhatever reason, our excitement to get a game over to PSVR 2 always outnumbers and out elevates the excitement of the people who are actually getting the fucking game. Right? When V-Racer Hoverbike got announced for Quest gamers were like, all right, okay, right? No sound. Let's give it a second here. All right. Grey Matter says they can hear it. This is the tough part when I don't have a co-host. I have to rely on you guys. Yeah, just hit F5, guys. If somebody type F5 in the chat. Okay. Good. All right, everything's fine. All right, we're gonna roll with it. Hopefully everybody refreshed who was having a problem. But like I was saying, like when V-Racer Hoverbike was announced for Quest, the Quest gamers just looked and was like, all right, yeah, sure, whatever. Like they didn't care. There was no excitement at all from that side of things, right? But PSVR 2 gamers, we flooded that shit. We absolutely made sure, guys, we don't have Wipeout Omega Collection like we thought we would. We didn't get the port that we were supposed to get, right? That PlayStation should have brought. And so this would be a nice way to pass the time, a nice placeholder, an awesome game to play in lieu of that game existing. We made so much noise that they immediately were like, we gotta fucking focus on this shit. Right? Like we made that happen. We made the difference. And so when you see a game like Rustmorn, if you see any game that's on today's VR game showcase that is not announced for PSVR 2, which I'm assuming there's going to be some great ones that are not announced for PSVR 2, we just make some noise. We make some noise and we show them, hey, we might be a small community, but we're a passionate community. We actually buy games. Right? And that's the great thing about being a PSVR 2 gamer. That's the great thing about being a VR gamer in general, I think, is that gaming doesn't happen like this. It doesn't work like this in really almost any other part of the gaming industry. You don't get to just jump up and down and say, hey, please bring your game over here, right? You don't really get to talk to a lot of developers and say, hey, please change this about your game. Right? It's not the way things are really done. But when you have a much smaller audience, when you're working with a small niche part of the industry like the VR industry, it's a lot different. It's a lot different. And I think that's great. I think that's very special. I think that makes us special. I think that makes the developers who make games for us special. Scott Drago says, I just want RoboQuest multiplayer already. Right? When is that, next month? We're like 3 weeks away, I think. So, yeah. So anyway. Carbon TM, what's up, Andrew? With the £2 says, respect for streaming when you'd rather eat pizza. Well, I'd rather eat pizza than do just about anything. The sad part is that I am doing my best to be healthy, and pizza is the antithesis of everything I need to be doing. So, that's so sad. Creepy Uncle says, looks like Memoriam VR won't be getting a PSVR 2 port now due to poor Quest sales. That's a real shame. I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look into that and talk to the developers and see what's up. All right. Michael makes a game with a $2 tip, says we need we actually buy games shirt. Oh, that would be great. That'd be great. Be some good merch. I've been meaning to revamp the Without Parole merch store. I think a lot of the stuff that we have is from like PSVR 1 era. Maybe has the old Without Parole logo on it. And so I gotta update it and get some new merch, like the Sirens on my end t-shirt, a We Actually Buy Games shirt. That'd be great. Good stuff. Daft DNA says, any word on Automa? Only that the developers are, deep into development. And the last time I talked to them, they were saying this year, which is great news. They were pretty confident in that, in fact. So, and I do honestly think, I think the rest of 2026 looks amazing. Right, we were talking a little bit about it on yesterday's show with AJ. We were saying that Bootstrap Island is coming out, and for me, that's probably one of the biggest releases of the year. I think that's going to be one of the most exciting games for me to play because I was such a big Song in the Smoke fan. And going back into Song in the Smoke, on PSVR 2, and having played through it on PSVR 1, so really knowing the ins and outs and all the mechanics, I was shocked how easy it was. And that's not Jake mode. If I really wanted a massive challenge, I could play on Jake mode. But I was surprised how easy it was, almost to the point where I was like, I don't think I want to do this again. Right? I was excited about playing through it again, and then just saying, maybe not. Maybe not, because I don't want the brutal challenge of a Jake mode, but I don't want the feeling of, oh, I've been here, done this already, feeling that because I've already played the game. So I needed something kind of in the middle, and I think that at least with Bootstrap Island, it'll be challenging, but it'll also be new, right? It'll be something that I've never played before, which is great. Yep, Popsicle says, developer for the Lo-Fi, that's Blair Renaud over there, says is on the final stretch of the game, so it could possibly be released this year. He did say he's on the final stretch of, I know he said final stretch of like fundraising for the game, right? It's so, I think the fun thing about Lo-Fi is that, do I have the trailer for it? Here it is. This is the Lo-Fi official release window trailer. And I'm pretty sure that if we make it to the end of this trailer, it says coming out whenever it's ready in 2023, which is great. I was like, bro, like 3 years ago, he was like, yeah, it's just about here. Beautiful, beautiful environments. This is just like an absolute showpiece as far as what can be done in VR graphically. What remains to be seen is what the gameplay will actually be like, because this framework, this sandbox of walking around and having things to do but no real game has been in existence for 5 years now. Right? If you go to Dave Station's YouTube channel, there's I think like an hour of him playing some early access build on Steam, which is like literally I think the last thing most of us have seen. Advice says Star Citizen of VR, not even close, because Star Citizen has had nothing but funding, nothing but tons and tons and tons of money, with also tons and tons and tons of updates. It became a bigger game than anybody could have ever anticipated, and will probably never actually come out of early access. Whereas Lo-Fi cannot seem to get the money he needs in order to get this game out. So coming when it's done, 2023, with the PSVR 2 logo. I love it. Which means that this game's kind of been in a holding pattern. I hope it turns out good. I hope it actually makes it out the door. And if it comes out this year, even better. But honestly, I think 2027 is going to be 2027 looks a little bland right now. It looks a little sparse for as far as PSVR 2 titles are concerned. You coming up here? You coming to hang out? Come on, I'll clear your space. Come hang out. Come on, come say hi to the people. Hi. Hey, what's up here? Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's over here? Hey. All right, she's being shy. But if that's the case, 2027 is going to be fine. Like we need 2027 games, and so if some of these games don't make it out this year, then great. Because again, 2027 is kind of looking a little sparse. We need some games peppered in now, so we have something to look forward to, and it'll be great. But we, later this year we also have EXD, Extra Dimensional, and it's great to see the developers are listening to all the complaints about the Steam version. Right, I'm seeing reports that are roughly anywhere from 6 to 8 hours long. There's a lot of stuff going on, but then there's complaints about the combat and a few other things in the game. Some people complaining about some minor assets that are made with AI art. Or generative AI, it's made with art that's made with, what I'm saying. And so, they've got plenty of time to, fix the things that didn't work so well, and make sure that by the time it gets to PSVR 2, it's super polished and ready to go, and way fewer complaints. And I love that. I sometimes I like being the last headset that gets a game, although I don't think EXD is planned for Quest, right? So that's fine. We also have Flat Out 4, which is going to be amazing, right? We already know Flat Out 4 is going to be amazing, mostly because most of us have already played it on PC. And there we go. We'll get some footage of AJ racing in Flat Out, and the fact that we know that the port studios, the people that work with Flat to VR, are really, really talented. Taunt says, Brian, will you be pre-ordering Grand Theft Auto? No, I'm just not a Grand Theft Auto guy. I have no problem with the game. I think that there's so much to do and it appeals to a lot of people. I don't think I'll be pre-ordering it. There's a lot of games that I want to play, a ton of games I want to play that are not in VR, and that's just really not one of them. So, but there are flat screen games that I really want to play. I'll be playing my copy of Adventures of Elliot on Switch 2 comes Thursday, I think. I was a little late. I didn't want to pull the trigger on Elliot, mostly because I was like, I didn't want to pay full price for a game that I wasn't 1,000% sure I was going to play right off the bat. What are you doing? Are you leaving us already? You're not going to jump to that shelf. Oh God, I moved these bookshelves around. She's doing the thing where she's like moving her butt around and like, doing all the geometry in her head to be like, can I land in that tiny little spot over there and break your YouTube play button? Huh? Is that what you're trying to do? You don't want to land over there. Please don't. Please don't. If I put this stuff up there, will that keep you from jumping? Yeah. I don't trust her. I don't trust her. She never gets into trouble, but I can tell what she's thinking. She's doing. You see her? She's like bobbing the head. She's like 17 divided by 14 times pi. Radius, circumference. You see what she's doing. You can get into her head. You can figure it out. Everything's going to come crashing down any second now. Anyway, so I'm not a Grand Theft Auto person. Guys, we only get 10 minutes until this thing starts. We got the show is there's a 15-minute pre-show. So we'll make sure we tune in for that. Make sure that there's not we don't miss any games, because sometimes there's like these little hidden gems in the pre-show, even though they tend to be smaller titles. But you know what? I like smaller titles. Lord Smitty, the mailman game cat, what's up, dude? With the level 2 membership, says, I'm out here getting soaked in the rain right now, but I'm making sure to get all my VR news fixed by the best outlet on YouTube. Love y'all. Thank you very much for that, man. Try to stay as dry as possible while you're doing your route. It's been crazy here. We were in the middle of this crazy heat wave, and then next thing you knew, the last 2 days have been high 50s, overcast, cloudy, like just it's good. Nice little respite, before the actual summer heat kicks in. So things have been pretty good over here as far as that's concerned. Oh man, I got to check out the physical titles on sale today because it's Prime Day. Thanks for the reminder, Taunt. Good call. Duskbloods, yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in Duskbloods, I guess, because it's a FromSoft game, but I'm not so much into the multiplayer FromSoft stuff. Not that I'm opposed to it, it's just that's not what's ever appealed to me about those games, mostly because I suck at them. I've got so many hours in Bloodborne, and I think if you saw like my progress, how the percentage of the game I'm actually through, you'd be mortified. You'd be like, you have 40 hours in and you're 10% of the way through the game. Yeah, like I'm really bad at it. And so like I like to suffer quietly, in peace, solitude. I don't like to do it. I don't like to do that in front of other people. In fact, she did make it to the shelf. I mean, it's the other shelf. It's the more empty shelf. But look at her. Hi. It's fine. You do you. Thanks for not breaking anything. Oh my God. She's so fucking cute. I can't stand it. I didn't even see her jump. Did she go down to the floor first? All right. Not to get off gaming completely, but I think I was telling people yesterday on the show that I was going to see Obsession last night. That was the plan, at least. My ex was in town. We were going to see Obsession, and then at the last minute we decided to stay in. But randomly, this is so random. We decided we were just watching some YouTube, and a video that popped up on YouTube was talking about this, this YouTuber. And it was like, blah, 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 how this YouTuber, changed everything with his, with this movie he made for $700 called Milk and Cereal, Serial. And immediately we were like, well, I think we need to track down Milk and Cereal and just watch that. And coincidentally, it was fucking, it's the same guy. It was, what's his name? Curry Barker. It was the same guy who made Milk and Cereal as Obsession, the movie we went to see. And so we actually ended up seeing his $700 found footage film on YouTube. And I got to say, shockingly, pretty good. Pretty good. I don't think it's hard to make a $700 found footage movie when you're not paying anybody, right? Like when all of your friends are just volunteering. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. I thought the actors were. I had just seen Undertone and was really disappointed by it. Thought Undertone, the acting was pretty terrible. And there's only really two people in the entire movie that have any speaking roles, and neither one of them sounded natural. One of them was just doing voice acting, voiceovers. You never see him on screen. And it's like, why does this feel so unnatural? Almost like the lines weren't recorded at the same time, almost like they weren't having an actual conversation. And so something like something like Milk and Cereal, I was like, how is it that these, like, a bunch of first time actors or young actors who aren't even getting paid for this role are just infinitely better at what they're doing? And I think you just tell that they were like way more passionate about the project. So anyway, small tangent. But so instead of seeing Obsession last night, I saw Curry Barker's previous movie, and it's good. Go watch it. It's free on YouTube. Milk and Cereal. Lord Smitty, the mailman game cat with the $5 says, let this go towards Tornado's own channel on Discord. We used to have a Ask Tornado channel on Discord. I would just post pictures of her randomly and people would ask her questions. It was cute. I don't know. Did we keep that? Did we get rid of it? I can't remember. Oh, Pastanaut says Curry Barker's short film, The Chair, is also pretty good. I didn't know that was him. Somebody just recommended The Chair to me recently too. So that's good to know. I'll put that on the list. Corey says, are you interested in Star Fox? I'm interested in it. I'm not excited about it. I think I might watch some reviews. And then decide after that. I've actually got quite a few Switch 2 games pre-ordered. Most of the games that are complete on card that aren't game key cards, I've got most of those pre-ordered. I like Lies of P Complete Edition just got announced for Switch 2, complete on card. I pre-ordered that. I had a ton of credit at VGP, so I just fucking said, you know what? I'm not actually spending any money here. So. Checkmate Stallion with the Canadian 5 says, yo, sup Brian, it's Living Legend. What's up, Living Legend? It has been a long time. He says, I'm thinking about getting Subside VR. How crisp is it on PS5? And is it 120 reprojected or 90 native? It is 90 native, and it is super, super, super crisp. The only complaint you could possibly have about Subside visually is like if some of the textures on things like on the ground of the ocean floor. Some of them you'd be like, wow, these textures are kind of meh, right? But that's getting into the real nitty gritty, right? The overall screen resolution is really high. I just like pretty much, I would say crystal clear. I think calling it anything less than crystal clear would be disingenuous. It's one of the best looking games on the platform, and there's no reprojection. I think Kenneby absolutely killed it with Subside. Patty Cake said, I enjoyed The Chair company. Different thing, but funny. Yes, I also enjoyed the chair company because it was funny, but I think it also took the conspiracy angle very seriously, like way more seriously than I expected them to. And so I enjoyed that it was funny and also kind of strangely serious at the same time. It reminded me, is it Tim? Fuck, why did I just forget his name? Who's the comedian? Tim. Everybody in the chat knows, and I don't. I wasn't a fan of him before, and that made me a fan of him. So I might have to check out some of the other stuff that he's done. With the new perspective. All right, we got like Tim Robinson. Thank you. Why did I have Tim like Richardson or something in my head? I was so close. I had the R in the sun, and I just didn't know what the letters between those were. So close. So close. Oh man, people just making up names in the chat. All right, good. This is great. So helpful as always. All right. Let's get over to the full screen here and make sure that everything is up and running so that when this thing actually starts, we are all ready for it. This is so much harder without a co-host. I could just be letting Jamie talk right now while I take care of all the technical stuff. Premieres in 2 minutes. Fantastic. We'll make sure that we get this up to HD. And let's turn up the sound too while we're at it. Is there any sound yet? No, no sound yet. All right. GameCat says he's probably streaming Star Fox tomorrow. That's awesome. I might stream Adventures of Elliot. Anybody interested in that? If I stream Adventures of Elliot? And if you don't know Adventures of Elliot, what the fuck? It's like Square Enix's take on a Legend of Zelda game, using the HD 2D style. Reviews came out. Everybody was pretty big on it. Shivlim says, "Rip Jammy. It's a shame what happened. I really liked him." We all did. We all did. But you know what? Jammy's not gone. He'll be in our hearts forever. It is a shame what happened to him, though. All right. All right. Looks like initial response is, let's play some Adventures of Elliot. Sweet. Well, that's showing up on Thursday. Maybe I'll stream it. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, Octopath. Yeah. I need to get into the Octopath games as well. I love the HD 2D style. It's like the closest thing you gotta get to retro and still have it feel modern, you know? Glagaby says, what happened to Jamie? I just forgot to invite him. That's all. I didn't know I was streaming this until like literally, 2 hours before I streamed it. That's all. That's all that happened. In case anybody isn't in on the joke. That's all that happened. Nothing happened to him. He's great. Jamie's awesome. But yeah, Twitcher, he did deserve it. I want to talk to Samson, says Tim Curry. Who's the best Tim actor? Oop, here we go. Let's go. All right, you guys can hear this, right? I see it bouncing up and down. You know who else likes to bounce up and down? Right. Cool. Yeah, Virtual Dude said, I wish we get a Ni no Kuni game in VR. Bro, that art style would look beautiful in the headset, especially with the OLED panels. So beautiful. Nick Mueller says, we're sending our love down the well to Jimmy. I know, there's a reference I actually get. How shocking is that? All right, we got 45 seconds. Yeah, Tim Curry might be the best Tim actor. It's certainly not Tim Allen. I can't think of any other Tims. I guess there's Timothée Chalamet, right? I like Timothée Chalamet. Bones and All was such a dark, gritty movie that he was in. That was just phenomenal. And then I think it's Hot Summer Night that I was just watching on Netflix recently. Definitely doesn't feel like a recent movie. It feels like a movie from 30 years ago. All right, let's go. 10 seconds.
Welcome to the pre-show for this summer's VR game showcase. I'm Xena, and I'll be your host as we count down to the core showcase, where we'll reveal over 5 brand new VR titles and offer new looks. We'll reveal over 5 brand new VR titles and offer new looks at Korea IL-2 series, Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades 2, and go behind the scenes with Payday Aces High. Before all of that, I'm going to be bringing you the coolest upcoming VR games and updates from some awesome small studios and indies. As always, use the QR code on screen to find your favorite games and get wishlisting. Kicking off today is Bullet Time Agent, a hybrid VR bullet hell that actually started life as a VR chat game. Let's get a first look at the project running on MetaQuest.
I will crush you! The artifact is worth more than this facility! I will not let you escape!
Let us decide who is most worthy through battle.
Dodge lasers with lightning-fast reflexes and slow-motion super...
Give me ratings in the chat, cats. Out of 10. Give me a rating 1 through 10. Excitement or hype for the game that we're seeing. That's kind of like a 4 or 5 for me, maybe. I'd probably play it.
A difficult physics platformer called Salmon Man. It's a true test of skill in which players bounce around levels with a paddle. The studio's added plenty of new content to the game since launch, but today is ready to reveal its biggest addition yet.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Salmon Man. Is this like a Foddy like? Is this supposed to be like, you know, like almost rage-baitingly difficult? One of those games, like, you know what I'm talking about?
The multiplayer update arrives next month.
Yo, where did the PSVR 2 logo for this one go? That was a PSVR 2 game. What happened?
It's a genre that inherently works well in VR, and Bamboo Grove is a great example of that.
I like horror.
Bamboo Grove looks terrifying.
It just looks.
It's got ghoulish monsters, an eerie mystery in which the
It looks rough around the edges. Hopefully they can polish it up before it comes out.
If you're brave enough, you can jump into the game on MetaQuest on July 15th. Another genre you'll see more of today is rhythm games. Back in March, we revealed that Parallel Circle's excellent Beat the Beats was releasing on Quest, Pico, and Steam. Today, we've got a brand new update for the PC version. Custom tracks are going to enable hours and hours of new content for Beat the Beats. Make sure to check out the new update and grab the game on basically every headset that's out there today. Now let's move from rhythm games to puzzlers. Augmental Puzzles launched earlier this year with mixed reality Sudoku challenges. But developer Flammable Penguins has plans to turn this game into the definitive puzzling platform for headsets. Now it's ready to announce the next step in that journey.
Alright, don't freak out. I gotta pause this for 1 second. There we go. Bro, I love Sudoku. I've got a Sudoku book in the bathroom. You know, for when you're gonna be there for a while. Like, I don't need Sudoku in VR, but
Nonograms is now available to play on Augmental Puzzles. The game's available to download for free on Quest, and it's also available on Steam VR. More horror is up next. Daggerwoods VR is a game we've had our eye on for a while. It's a creepy psychological thriller that combines escape room-style puzzles with a branching narrative. Enjoy this eerie new trailer.
Sweet. Hadn't heard about Daggerwoods in a bit.
Mom, come play with us.
I'm coming, Jenna! What is happening here? Where am I? Andrew. Jenna! Oh, this is happening again.
I need to save them.
Hey, good looking at you guys. I saw that some people saw the PSVR 2 logo at the end of that puzzle game. Good to see. I didn't even notice it. I wasn't really paying attention, but good to know.
What are you doing in my home? This is not a game anymore. Andrew? Jenna?
Sweet.
I'm done playing this game.
Daggerwoods looks like an authentically murky VR escape room. We're keeping a close eye on what the twisted minds at Paracosm Studio are cooking up. Alright, it's time for our last trailer of the pre-show. Stick around because the VR game showcase is up next.
This is great. This pre-show, this is great. This is how the Upload VR showcase should go, right? If you're going to have smaller games, like fucking go bam, 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 one after another after another. They just knocked out 15 games in 15 minutes. That was great.
With a fresh new look at one of our most anticipated co-op VR adventure games on the horizon. This is Dalmier, Lila, and Ghost.
3, 2, 1, go! Password is
The circle in here.
look carefully. It should be right here. I have found the key.
All right, there were 8 games. I'm sorry, not 15. But it feels like they're rapid firing these, which is great, right? These are not major titles, not huge titles. I'm excited for things like Daggerwoods, right? I think Daggerwoods will be fun, but you certainly don't need to spend 5 minutes of a showcase on it. I like the idea of a pre-show that has these smaller games like this. That works for me. Right. Nine games. I can't count. I can't do math. It was 3 by 3. That was pretty easy. And then a 30-second timer. What do you guys want to talk about for 20 seconds? Thank you for the tips. Thanks for the support, everybody. We'll get to the tips as soon as the showcase is over. But I appreciate you guys sending them along, supporting the channel, keeping the lights on. You guys are the best.
Alert. Priority outbreak
Sweet.
protocol initialized. Target profile patient X.
Breachers Outbreak. No PlayStation
Breachers
logo.
Outbreak is the new game from Forefront developer Triangle Factory. It's an intense new spin on the team's 2023 breakout hit, Breachers, with series first co-op gameplay. Not only that, but Outbreak will be playable in both VR and on flat screen, when it's made available to purchase later this year.
Hybrid's the future.
Full crossplay support included. More to share later in the year, but thanks to the team at Triangle Factory for teaming with VRGS for today's reveal.
Hybrid
With
is
that
the future.
said, welcome back to the VR Game Showcase. Today, we simply want you to have fun. This show and these games don't work without you. When you tune in, either live or on catch-up, you tell this industry that these types of events matter. You get to tell studios what you want to see more of when you wishlist games, join Discord channels, or straight up pre-order and purchase new titles. You are the reason developers and publishers have trusted us to reveal games like Forefront, Payday Aces High, and Flat Out 4 VR. So, thank you, and please keep doing what you're doing. This show is for you, and it always will be. There's enough stress outside of these four walls. For the next 40 or so minutes, forget all of that. There's lots to look forward to for the future of VR. Steam Frame feels like it's right around the corner. Incredible titles like Bootstrap Island continue to evolve with new updates. Publishers and developers like Flat to VR are paving the way for multi-platform, high-quality releases. And amazing new games like Payday Aces High are on the horizon. Stay tuned at the end of the show, where we'll go behind the scenes with Fast Travel Games to learn exclusive new details on that one.
I'm not sticking around for that.
And a flat-screen PC game that makes perfect sense for VR, actually supporting VR.
See, unlike V-Racer SBK or V-Rider SBK, lane split looks good to me, right? I'd much rather have something like this where you're racing through like cities and shit like that, rather than just around tracks. That looks great.
Grab the game and download the free VR update on Steam right now. Let's keep the momentum going. Here's the debut of the brand new IP.
Yeah, the locomotion in this looks fun. Pretty seamless climbing and grappling, moving around the environment. This looks good. And the art style looks nice too, pretty vibrant. Those colors would pop with the OLED panels. Not that I expect this to be getting a PSVR 2 game. I really like the combat, it looks better than Reach. Actually, it looks like somebody was trying to make Reach. It's a lot of the same mechanics. Actually, now that I think about it, the art style is not that different. I just like the way this one looks a lot better. Yeah, it'll get to us eventually. Q2 2027, I'm calling it now.
We were sold on the Rifted Skies the moment we saw it. It's got a gorgeous, vibrant world to explore. There's free-flowing locomotion in which one move effortlessly bleeds into another. And it features tactile, dynamic combat that'll keep us coming back for more. It's the kind of game you can really get a feel for just by watching the trailer. Wishlists are available on MetaQuest and Steam VR right now. And look out for more information as we head towards launch this fall. Now, it's time for one of our favorite update announcements we've ever had the pleasure of hosting at VRGS.
Hello, good people of the video games community.
Oh, this is Maestro?
Excuse me, Eric the Rock. I'm contacting you directly from the metaverse. Isn't that amazing? You can hear me, you can see me, you can almost feel me, but I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm inside the metaverse. Blip, blip, blop. Flip, blip, 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 blip. Wonderful times. I'm here to announce very good news to our beloved community about the future of Maestro. As promised, we have a brand new update coming soon. Very soon. First item on the list. A full updated graphics and sound across the entire game for your own pleasure, of course. Secondly, the expert mode. A brand new difficulty level that will challenge your conducting skills. Let me tell you about that. And also, and most importantly peut-être, our brand new DLCs. Not one DLC, but two DLCs. Plural. You will face the towering giants of Attack on Titan to conduct not one, but two of the scenes, Attack on Titan and Ashes on a Fire.
You will travel to the wonderful and
Terrifying world of to conduct its own theme. Pas mal, no? What a wonderful time to be alive. I must go now, inside the metaverse, to find some culture. For you, and always for you. This was Eric de Rock.
Did anyone else have to check to make sure they didn't accidentally take mushrooms before the show? That was just me?
Thanks to the team at Doublejack, and of course Eric de Rock, for today's Maestro updates. There's much more to come for one of VR's best music games, including the Attack on Titan pack and a second DLC that we know you're going to love. You can grab Maestro on Quest, PSVR 2, and PCVR.
Maestro's good. Pick it up.
Another new IP is up next. This time it's from a brand new studio. Over the years, we've seen plenty of great physics sandboxes with impressive tech, though precious few of them are backed up by a genuine game to explore at their heart. Skeleton Crew doesn't just offer that experience, it's making it happen on standalone and in co-op. Take a look.
All right, listen. This looks like what I wanted Battle Wake to be, right? So, like, kind of like the fun ship to ship combat, but with some actual, an actual campaign involved. This could be really good.
Not only is Skeleton Crew a brand new game, it's a great display of physical interaction on Quest that supports co-op pirate adventures. And yes, it's also available to grab right now on the Quest store. It's a game from an incredibly passionate studio that's intent on proving standalone VR can pull off impressive technical feats. Give it a shot. Alright, time for a quick check-in on what's new from a VRGS stable, Exoshock.
Ooh.
Back in March, we said we couldn't wait to see Exoshock grow into one of VR's definitive squad-based shooters. This July, the game takes another big step towards that goal, with the arrival of multiplayer support. If you're not already a founder, now's a great time to jump in over on the Exoshock website.
JMH has too many energy drinks.
If you've been with us at VRGS for a while now, you know we love to hand the show over to developers and publishers when they have multiple exciting updates to share. We'll be doing that once again with the Flat to VR and Impact Inc. team very shortly. But we're also very happy to be handing the steering wheel over to a VRGS newcomer, Squiddo. Between their internal development and publishing arms, Squiddo caters to a broad spectrum of VR gamers. Today, they've got some big announcements to share.
What's up? I'm Eric.
And I'm Anthony. We're both representing Squiddo Studio, the development team behind the award-winning VR adventure platformer No More Rainbows
and physics-based sandbox DigiGods. So we've been working on a whole bunch of different projects, and we want to take you on an adventure and show you a little bit of what we've been working on, including a massive household IP. So stay tuned until the end.
To kick things off, let's visit the realm of Wizard. Released earlier this year, Wizard is a fast-paced dungeon-crawling VR adventure where you wield the magic. You can sling powerful spells with your own hands, carve through waves of enemies, and face off against towering zone bosses. Here's a glimpse of what you can expect later this year in Wizard.
When your years were few, it seemed you had seen it all. But then the world began to unfold.
All right, listen, I like to know more rainbows, but I feel like we're heading back into Upload VR territory with this.
To a single blinding sun. Join the herd.
We hope that you're as excited as we are about Wizard. We're really aiming to stretch the boundaries of a fun and social dungeon crawling experience.
Now let's switch things up to something a little more cozy. You may have heard of a game called Outlanders, a cozy and charming village building game where you step into the role of a town leader managing a group of eccentric followers with unique hopes, dreams, and outlandish desires. We're happy to announce that we're partnering up with Pomelo Games to help bring Outlanders to VR. Here's a little glimpse of what's to come.
Whoa. Anybody else have a migraine setting in? Just looking at it makes me very unhappy.
You can expect to play Outlanders VR by the end of this year. In an era enamored by TCG, pet, and Nido collecting, we're happy to announce our upcoming title, Nomsters. Co-developed with Wide Game Studio, Nomsters blends social and idle gaming with a deep pet collection system spread across several game modes.
Oh I just got a legendary!
Well, here's a little glimpse of gameplay.
Ooh.
Expect Nomsters to release later this year.
Alright, we're excited to share 2 new titles by Spectral Games, the developer behind Medieval Dynasty. For the first title, we're really pushing the boundaries of how you can explore worlds in VR, so sit tight as we take you to the skies.
Wake up, dragons. It's time to take to the skies. Fly with friends. And transform!
Keep an eye out for more details about Roar.
This next title, also by Spectral Games, requires a little contractual obligation. If you're ready to sign, it's time to grab your weapons and face an unequal battle against the nightmares of the deep.
The Lightkeepers is a cooperative action game where you'll fight for your life until every dawn. Check out their brand new trailer and devlog.
This looks okay. It's like I got about 5 hours into Dredge before I put it down, and like this looks kind of dredgy, right? It's got the I don't know, right? Of the last 5 that they've showed or whatever, all from Squiddo, this looks like the only one that I'd be interested in. I don't know. I had heard about
In the
Lightkeepers.
You play as top guys doing the toughest job in the world, which is to defend the lighthouse against hordes of monsters. But to do that, you have to be prepared. We provide you with dozens of islands where you can find the necessary items to protect the lighthouse. Some you will find, others you will have to craft. Exploration is recommended only during the day because when the night falls, well, you know.
Okay, so they also
Speaking
played
of danger,
Dredge.
Not everywhere is safe during
Got
the
it.
day. If you're lucky, you'll find ancient ruins, mines, and bunkers from years past, which hide both valuables and forgotten but still functioning works of military technology. But nothing comes for free. A big reward equals big danger.
We're arming you with an arsenal of weapons that will let you effectively prepare for enemy attacks. We're especially proud that we have managed to faithfully recreate all interactions related to historical weapons, though we admit that some of it is basically our own idea.
Monsters. Some slash, some hack. They run at breakneck speed to blow the lighthouse to smithereens. They speed, cast spells, and sneak up from behind. There are plenty of them, and they have one goal: to kill you and infect the lighthouse with darkness. If you mess up your defense, you can try to salvage the situation with your little lanterns, but that's the moment when you realize you've really screwed up.
We've built a little hub for you where you can inform teams, brag about your achievements, level up your weapons, unlock new ones, and plan new contracts. Each one will be different, and if you think those giant tentacles are the biggest threats in the game, hell no, you know nothing. If you want to take part in the first playtest, join our Discord and be among the first Lightkeepers to join the front. See you soon, Lightkeepers. We'll be in touch.
All right, well, at least they ended their
The
segment
Lightkeepers
with...
will release worldwide to MetaQuest on September 10th, 2026. For our final game, we're excited to share a project developed by Metaphor Interactive and Illogica. It's an arcade-style first-person VR shooter on rails with a powerhouse of an IP. And without further ado, I'll let the trailer speak for itself.
This has to end, Megatron.
Did you say Megatron?
It ends when you and your Autobots are crushed into scrap. Why do you care so much about this wretched world, man? I care about all life, Megatron. Even one as twisted as yours. Saviors, attack!
Oh, how I am going to hurt you!
Transformers Beyond Reality was a success on PSVR 2.
Yeah, but it wasn't great.
It will be coming to MetaQuest as Transformers Beyond Reality Redux, which will include several changes and enhanced features.
That's all for now. I hope you're as excited as we are for these projects.
Wow.
We've got even more to share soon. So thank you for
It was
watching.
not a great
and we'll
game
see
to
you next
begin
time.
with.
Thanks to Eric and the team for joining VRGS today. It's great to see a studio that's had success in this market pay it forward, with updates to hit games like Wizard, ports of titles like Transformers.
Please tell me the flat to VR segment's next. I need something exciting to look at. I can't look at this shit anymore. I can't. It's driving me insane. I feel like I've got a migraine.
Here at VRGS last November, and have been following its progress ever since. Today's deep dive shows you exactly why. The developers of Medieval Dynasty New Settlement are taking what they learned with a popular survival franchise and applying it to their own stylish IP. We can't wait to finally get our hands on this one.
Right, I want this to be a clean mission. We go in, we grab the loot, and we get out. Are we clear? Weapons ready. Systems powered. Warp ready. And here we go.
From Skeleton Crew to Breach's Outbreak, and now Lightkeepers to Soul Protocol, co-op fans are eating good in VR right now. Look for Soul Protocol's brand of zero-gravity gameplay later this year.
Looks fine.
Now, we also promised you updates from the Flat to VR and Impact Inc. team at VRGS
Here we go.
today,
This should be
and we're
decent.
more than happy to deliver.
Hey everybody, Eric here from Flat to VR Studios. At last VR Game Showcase, we announced our first ever Flat to VR Spark title, Flat Out 4 Total Insanity VR. Since our early access launch on Steam, the response has been incredible. Flat Out 4 VR is currently sitting at a very positive on Steam. Players are sharing ridiculous clips every day, and we've seen creators call it the VR Game of the Year contender. The whole team has been buzzing here, so thank you. Because this is exactly what Flat to VR Spark was built for, helping talented developers bring ambitious VR projects to life as official releases. And because this is early access, we've been able to keep improving the game based on what players are telling us. Since launch, we've added custom music support so you can bring your own soundtrack to the race. We've added multiplayer voice chat, and we're working closely with players on wheel support to make sure more and more setups are compatible. Wheel support is probably the biggest example what early access can do. Flat Out 4 VR is being built by a super small team, and we can't possibly own and test every setup that's out there. So when players told us their wheels weren't working, we got them on Discord, and we worked through their fixes together. Now, thanks to that collaboration, we've confirmed wheel support for hundreds of unique wheel setups. That is early access.
I didn't know that there were that many
Players
wheels.
and developers working together to make the game better. And we're not done. We're exploring AI opponents in multiplayer, first-person windshield ejections for anyone brave enough to turn that on,
There we go.
and more based on what players keep telling us. So if you're playing on Steam, keep that feedback coming. Join the Flat VR Studios Discord, and if you're enjoying the game, leaving a Steam review really helps us reach our next milestone. And for everyone waiting to play on the PlayStation VR 2, we have an update. The team is actively working on the PlayStation VR 2 version of Flat Out 4 Total Insanity VR. So if you've been watching Steam players race, crash, do stunts, and grin their way through Flat Out 4 VR, and you want to do all that in the PlayStation VR 2, this is the moment to make some noise.
It's not a big update, just it's still coming. All right, listen, I know this one is all like augmented reality or mixed reality and like cartoony, but I've heard Primal Rumble is actually really fucking fun. So let's hope we get that on PSVR too.
François here from Vertex Breakers. First, thanks for the continued support you've shown the Racer Hoverbike. At the last VR game showcase, we launched our free track editor. Since then, you've created more than 300 tracks. The creativity has really impressed the whole dev team. We've loved racing them with you in multiplayer, and your feedback has helped us decide where to improve next. From today, we have a new free update we think you'll like. It comes with a new bike to unlock, the Mac Pulse. We've added engine classes, so you can race with the bike design you like while choosing the engine type you prefer. And in multiplayer, we've added engine parity, so everyone can race on a more level playing field, whether you're brand new or a veteran rider. We've also launched the Weekend Grid, our weekly community multiplayer meetup. Every Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. CEST, jump into multiplayer and race with the V-Racer community. V-Racer Hoverbike has been in development for 9 years. And we still have so much more that we want to build. So for players who want to support the team further, we're launching the V-Racer Hoverbike Supporter Pack. It includes headgear, back kit, rider suit and helmet, a rider badge for the leaderboards, and yes, the ability to start a disco in the lobby, because why not?
Because
we're
why
also
not?
launching our first premium track DLCs, Neopolis Ascend and Kepler. Each track DLC includes a new premium track, raceable in reverse, plus exclusive headgear, back kit, a celebration burst for the lobby, and a creator tool add-on.
Bro, can I get wings?
Giving you new ways to customize your own creations.
Can I get
Free
wings?
updates, Supporter Pack, Neopolis Ascend DLC, and Kepler DLC are all available now on PSVR 2, MetaQuest, and Steam VR.
I want wings.
That was a lot, but we hope there is something here for everyone. Thank you again, and we'll see you on the track.
Guys, new tracks and wings?
Hi, my name is Magdalena, and I am a producer at Flat2VR Studios. If you've seen any of our recent Trombone Tramp Unflattened posts, you may have noticed a few hints about what's coming next. This July, a brand new paid song pack is coming to Trombone Tramp Unflattened. It's launching on MetaQuest, PlayStation VR 2, and Steam VR. How many of these songs do you recognize? A Whole New World from Aladdin, Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid, You've Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story, Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast, Circle of Life from The Lion King, and Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid. All carefully prepared for the world's most sophisticated VR trombone performance simulator. The song pack also includes 2 new themed performance environments.
Nice, I'm assuming this is one of them.
Will make you very, very small, like a toy-sized tromboner, with a very big story to tell. The second stage will take you under the sea, with an awesome new look that's sure to make waves. The team is working hard on the final touches, and we can't wait for you to play it. For MetaQuest players, one quick reminder, Trombone Tramp Unflattened, it's currently included with Meta Horizon Plus this month. If you are a subscriber, you can add the base game to your library at no additional cost before the end of June. There are only a few days left, so we recommend doing it today if you can. The Disney Song Pack arrives this July. Until then, keep your trombone close, keep an eye on our socials, hydrate, and get ready for a whole new world of a VR trombone.
I think this is cool. I'm not super into Trombone Champ, but this is enough for me to pick it back up and play these new songs.
It's not often we have the one more thing in the middle of the show, but Flat2VR has one more thing.
Yeah, this is the one everyone keeps asking about.
Between Flatout 4 VR and V-Racer Hoverbike, racing fans have it made in VR. And we can't tell you how happy we are to formally announce that I Am Your Beast is coming to PC VR soon.
Let's make some noise on this one, cats.
This was one of 2024's most critically acclaimed games, and makes perfect sense for the Flat2VR Spark initiative. It fully embodies what Spark is all about, taking great games and partnering with experienced modders and developers to release thoughtful native VR ports. We cannot wait for release later this year. Now, you often see the Flat2VR team close out the show, but don't worry, we're not done. We've still got plenty of original and striking VR games to look forward to.
How long is this
Guardians,
show?
Planetfall.
Is this recording? The red light means recording, right?
Where is this even being broadcast?
VRGS.
VGRS? Very Responsible Galactic Psychics?
No.
Violent Recruit?
No. And stop guessing. Guardians of the Citizens of the Galaxy. Future Guardians. If this transmission reached you, good. That means at least one of our sisters. Oh, for sake, every time. Basically, we need your help. Or long story short, we need your help. The bugs are swarming our colonies. The Void Empire is deploying walkers, drones, and heavy units too, which is why we are now accepting new Guardian recruits. As a Guardian, you will serve a greater cause than yourself. You will get to visit extraordinary worlds across the galaxy.
The brochure did not mention the screaming.
You will encounter fascinating alien life. You will be issued advanced weapons and tactical equipment.
Most of it is safe when used correctly.
Yes. Quite, but you will not be doing this alone. You will deploy with a squad, complete critical objectives, gather resources, and push back the enemy one operation at a time. Every mission matters. Every squad counts. Every planet we take brings humanity one step closer to victory.
Man, some of you picked up on Miles' cameo. You guys got good ears. I like it.
What is it?
Command says they're providing additional orbital strikes.
Oh, good. Where?
It looks like...
This is another one, guys. This is another one we need to be fighting for because it just looks awesome. This is like Starship Troopers, Helldivers. This is exactly what we want in VR.
So we were overjoyed when Virtual Age got in touch to make today's new look happen. More to come, but rest assured, Planetfall is progressing smoothly. If you're following our VRGS socials, then a few weeks ago you may have spotted the announcement of Inwigo from Dirty Pearl Studios. This is a really interesting take on 4-player cooperative horror in VR. Today, the studio has some big updates to share.
I don't know. I can't tell if this looks goofy or kind of cool. I'm kind of leaning toward goofy, though.
Inwigo launches on Quest today as a free-to-play title. It's got that classic fairground atmosphere, casting players as children navigating haunted mansions. Puzzles, monsters, and plenty of jump scares away. Go and check out your next VR horror fix on standalone, or wishlist the upcoming Steam VR version. Alright, we're down to our last 3 games before we jump into the Payday Aces High Developer Direct. Our next project is the new title from Xiaomi Games, the developers of
Sweet
the
Surrender.
excellent Sweet Surrender.
Yeah.
They've been working on their latest title for a few years now, and we're honored to make the debut here at VRGS today.
Let's hope they learned their lesson to bring it to PSVR Day 1.
Reloading. Cover me. I got you. Go, go, go. Okay, push. Watch out. Ha, take this. Push, push. Ship's here. Get on this heavy quick. Let's gear up and go again. Let me upgrade my weapon.
I'll just grab my sniper.
Maybe bring more ammo this time. Let's jump back in.
Our objective is here.
Go, go! You take it, shoot! Nice shot. On your left.
Drifters Blackout Crew. Shocker, no PSVR 2 logo.
Drifters Blackout Crew builds on Xiaomi's past work to deliver an ambitious PvE extraction shooter experience. Up to 4 players will raid ancient temples in search of resources and balance risk against reward as they choose when to extract. You can go and wishlist the game now, and we'll have more info to share soon. So, I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little peckish. Who's up for some hot dogs?
Greetings! Welcome to a micro featurette for Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades 2.
Zero interest.
I'm Anton, game director, and I wanted to give you all a quick development update on how the game's coming. If you don't know what H3VR2 is, it's our upcoming tactical extraction roguelike coming to standalone in PSVR. In it, you take on the role of the handiest 6-foot-tall sentient hot dog and dive into a strange...
In case you don't know, this guy loves to bash PSVR 2 on social media. Just loves to say, everybody I know lost money on PSVR 2. It's like, bro, then who the fuck have you been talking to? And so immediately discounting it, saying it'll never come to PSVR 2. And he's one of these guys who got real fucking lucky at being in the right place at the right time with his first game. And I think he's about to find out real fast that the market has changed dramatically since he put out his first game, that the sequel is not going to be for everybody. But that might just be me, sour grapes. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens.
Game and the interaction system that we built for this sequel. We've done a couple just for the gun nerds that are all about ammunition and cartridges and ballistic sims and firearm magazines and all of the nitty-gritty wonderful stuff that we've made for the real sickos out there. We've got some super exciting stuff to show you folks in the coming months, including our inventory systems, SOSIG damage systems, melee combat, and of course, more guns and toys. So follow us on our socials, and we look forward to bringing more meaty mayhem your way soon. Peace.
Crunchy, eh?
Right.
H3VR2 was one of the standout announcements at the Creature Feature Showcase back in May. And Anton and his team at Rust are steadily building towards launch with regular featurette drops. If you're like us, then you're fully tantalized by those teasers at the end. So make sure to head to Anton's YouTube channel and wishlist the game to keep up to date. Today, we brought you brand new game reveals in Outlanders VR, I Am Your Beast, Drifters Blackout Crew, Breach's Outbreak, and the Rifted Skies. We've debuted incredible surprise drops and updates like Skeleton Crew, Inwigo, and Maestro's Attack on Titan DLC. And we're not done. We have one more game left to show you before the payday Aces High.
All right, one more game. Let's go.
Before we jump in, we want to let you know that VRGS will be back for its 2-year anniversary at our Gamescom showcase in August. Thank you for helping make this show what it is today and pushing us to go.
I might have a showcase in August or September too.
Got some of
competing
our best
showcase
ever lined
oh
up
no!
for August.
Good luck, Jamie.
Okay,
it's on.
For years now, the IL2 series has offered some of the most authentic and immersive flight simulation, not just on flat screen, but also in VR. Korea IL2 series builds on that legacy with an incredible new game set in the Korean War. The game launches with optional VR support this Thursday, June 25th in early access. Let's take a first look at what's in store for VR players. Thank you again, and stay tuned for the Payday Aces High Developer Direct.
I'm sorry, I'm sure this game is going to be great. I'm really confused as to why this was already talked about so much prior to the VR game showcase. In the description of this video that we're watching right now, they said that this game was going to be here. Why on earth would you be like, in our final game? Why would you tell people that in the description of the video in social media? It's kind of a letdown to be like, oh, the final game is a game that we've absolutely already know about. Looks good. No complaints. Looks good. Yeah, I agree with you, Chris White. I'm more about the arcadey stuff, modern stuff. But yeah, it looks great for people who are into this stuff. All right, let's kill the volume here. Yeah, no PSVR 2 version. Cut Crane. Again, as we talked about for a long time before the show started, this is... there's a lot of reasons why we didn't get PSVR 2 logos on a lot of the games. We knew we weren't going to see too many PSVR 2 logos. That's fine. No big deal. We can do a little recap here while the developer showcase is playing. I'll keep it on in the background. Maybe I don't think they're not going to announce PSVR 2 support for Payday today. But they're aware. You know, they're aware we want it, and they've got a good history working with. I take it back. I'm not going to watch this. I don't think I can. I don't think I can be bothered. Plus, I don't want to have voices in my ears. What's up, Andreas Julius' son? Good guy. I feel like I've been talking to Andreas Juliusson for 25% of my life at this point. He's a good guy. All right. Well, let's move on from this then. Let's get back over to our normal setup. Yeah, we knew there were a lot of reasons that we talked about before the show that there weren't going to be a lot of PSVR 2 logos, and that's just kind of how it is moving forward and how it's kind of always been. So it doesn't mean there's not a lot of PSVR 2 games coming. It doesn't mean that some of these games aren't coming to PSVR 2. It just means that these developers need to focus on the easy versions or focus on getting the game done, and then start looking at bringing it to PSVR 2 if their game was successful enough on Steam or Quest, and then frequently not even doing the port themselves, coming up with some arrangement with a studio like Flat to VR or VR Monkey in order to get the port done and come up with some kind of arrangement in order for that to happen. A lot of these studios do not want to. I mean, they know it's a hassle getting their game on PSVR 2. Sony makes it very difficult and usually benefits us. We usually get a more polished product in the long run, but still it can be a hassle. So, take the good with the bad, I guess. That said, more sirens on my end. I don't think this was a horrible show. I wasn't super interested in most of what we saw. It was cool to see Triangle Factory's next game with Breacher's Outbreak and being a hybrid right off the bat. I think that'll help. I also like that it's going for a little bit of a horror vibe. Thought that was cool. And there were plenty of games that, again, no PSVR 2 announcement, but I thought Lane Split looked good. Drifted Skies. We're getting Maestro DLC with Attack on Titan. That's cool. A little surprising. We still haven't seen a PSVR 2 logo for Exoshock. That feels like it's pretty much been decided that that's happening. Skeleton Crew looked okay. And then, man, the whole Squiddo Studios segment was just rough, right? With Wizard, Outlanders, which, I mean, Outlanders looks like it could be a fun game. It's got some city building aspects going on, but I don't know, man. Just throwing it into a group of 4 games that all kind of have this similar basic, bland cartoony art style. You can have a cartoony art style and have it look striking. That's that works. We've seen it in Borderlands. We've seen it in plenty of places. But these do not have a striking art style. These have a very boring, to use the pejorative, questy looking art style, right? Just flat shaded polygons and just very plain looking. At least they finished the Squiddo segment on a high note with the Lightkeepers, which again looks like Dredge with some crafting and, some tower defense stuff. So that could be good. But again, not even coming to PSVR 2 yet. So I would be interested in maybe getting behind that one a little bit and saying, hey guys, if you're bringing one of your games to PSVR 2, make it that one because you can keep the rest. Flat Out 2, it looks like you can wishlist that now on the PlayStation Store. V-Racer content looked great. I love that they're still working on new content with 2 new DLC packs, right? With tracks, 2 new tracks, right? And cosmetics. I definitely want to have wings and have this is when cosmetics get fun, I think, at least, right? When you're just playing V-Racer one day and you get in, you're just like racing against some random opponent and you look over and some dude just got fucking massive like angel wings or demon wings and you're like, where the fuck? Right? Like, it's like, oh, I don't care about like a different design on my helmet or something like that. It doesn't do much for me. But when it's something massive like wings, I'm super down. Like, I actually got excited about that when they showed it. Let's see, what else did we get? The Trombone Champ Disney DLC. Again, I wasn't the biggest Trombone Champ fan. Like, when I was playing it, I enjoyed it. I was like, this is kind of goofy and kind of silly, but it actually takes a little bit more precision than I thought. Like, there is a lot of skill involved in Trombone Champ. And I was like, I don't know if I like this enough to stick with it. And plus the music choices were all this, what's royalty free, like just things like classical pieces and all sorts of stuff that I was just like, I don't know, but to actually have real licensed Disney songs in it, I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. That might be enough to pull me back in and make me want to practice a couple songs. So I think I think that was a good move. I think improving the track list should be a priority in Trombone Champ. And then we saw I Am Your Beast VR, which again doesn't do a ton for me personally, but I Am Your Beast, everybody seems to like be super excited about it and really into it. And so again, I think that would be a good GameCat Ops game. It was a little surprising to see Salmi Games, who made Sweet Surrender, there with their new game. And after they had a whole post-mortem on their PSVR 2 launch of Sweet Surrender, basically recognizing the fact that they made a lot of mistakes, right? And one of their mistakes was, hey, PSVR 2 gamers are not that interested in a port of a 6-year-old roguelite shooter, right? When we've already got a ton of other roguelite shooters, when we've got RoboQuest like on the way. It was like RoboQuest was literally launching 2 weeks after Sweet Surrender. And so when Sweet Surrender totally flopped, it was like, well, yeah, dude, horrible timing on your part. And so in my head, I was like, well, they're not going to make that mistake again. But then here they are, they're announcing their new game, no mention of PSVR 2. And I was like, guys, go ahead. We'll see you in 6 years and we'll see how that goes. Not trying to be negative, but just like, I'm trying to be realistic. I'm like, bro, you're the one who said this. You're the one who recognized the reasons why it was a bad idea to bring a 6-year-old game in a genre that has evolved like significantly since you put out your game. Anyway, it looks okay. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This was an okay VR showcase. I think there was a lot of stuff in the middle, more sirens on my end, a lot of stuff in the middle that really made me feel like I was watching an Upload VR showcase. And as some people in the comments in the chat pointed out, I'll wait. You good? As some people in the chat pointed out, it's like I felt like a lot of the games that were less impressive during the actual showcase seemed like they belonged in the pre-show, right? When you're just blasting through these games, which what they do 9 and 15 minutes, it felt like they did more, and it felt like they actually went faster than that, right? Because 9 and 15 minutes is roughly what, a minute 40 per minute 45, something like that. I don't know. I can't do math in my head. And so like, you chop all those down to a minute, you suddenly get 15 games in there, and then you fit in all of the games that like kind of slow down your showcase midway through. I don't know. I'm just complaining to complain. Like I said, it was fine. And we were warned that there wasn't going to be a lot of PSVR 2 content. So I'm not like, I'm not like super disappointed about that. I actually wasn't even going to stream this. I only decided about 2 hours before the show to stream it. So, I wasn't going to because I knew, right? We all knew. Yeah, Colin, that's a good point, Colin. Sweet Surrender is a good game, right? I don't want to make it sound like it's not. I had fun with it. But it's by comparison to RoboQuest, by comparison to a lot of things. It just felt like it was like, oh yeah, this is a good idea. But it definitely felt like, because there are a lot of games. There are a lot of, what were we talking about? Somebody was talking about Lone Echo before the show started, which is a 10-year-old VR game. And if we got Lone Echo today on PSVR 2, exactly the same as it is on PC, we'd be blown away, right? So there are, I don't want to ever say, 6 years old. 6 years old, well, that must not be a good game anymore. That's not true. Half-Life Alyx is 6 or 7 years old, something like that. I can't remember. And so there are plenty of like older games that came out, 10 years ago that if we got today, we'd be very impressed with, because back when VR was new, there was a lot more money in it. A lot more people were throwing tons of money at VR, and they had these big budgets and expected VR to be the next big thing. And for a year or two, or a couple of years, it seemed like, we had these high quality games in VR. And like, so that's why 10 years after, I feel like we haven't, like, there was a massive dip in quality, at least from aesthetically, right? And it's taken us a long time, and we're slowly building back up to that. I mean, you look at things like Blood and Truth, right? Like, you don't see a ton of stuff like that. That was 2018. So, you know what I mean? There's just not a lot of money in VR anymore, and so there's not the budgets to do that kind of stuff. Anyway, point is, I'm not trying to say that all old VR games are bad. I think, in fact, some of them might be better than what we've got today. Let's tackle a couple of these tips. I'm sorry to let them slide during the show, but we got Checkmate Stallion with the $5. Says, Brian, what do you think of the new Spyro 4 game coming out next spring? When I saw the announcement, it was super emotional. Reminds me of my 90s childhood. I'm not going to lie to you. I was more of a Crash guy. I was super into Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, 3, and Crash Team Racing. And I've never really gotten into the Spyro games. I think I owned them all. I have access to all of them still, and I think by the time I got around to it, I think I had aged out a little bit. I think those games feel a little bit kiddie. At least the original ones. I don't want to talk about the PS2 ones that I know nothing about. But I've been wanting to play through the trilogy, the remake trilogy. So I may get into that. I may get into that at some point. I think I have it wishlisted on my Switch. We got Hick with the $2. Says, just saying hi. Hope you're doing good, man. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well as well. I feel like I haven't heard from you in a long time. Appreciate you being here and appreciate you supporting the channel, Hick. Good stuff. Andrew Ehrenreich gives us a pair character exaggeratingly stretching his arm forward to offer a cup of coffee. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm running low on the coffee, so I definitely needed a refill. Judge Dead Pools Gamecat with the Australian 5 says, flat to VR, yet to deliver. Where is Postal? What do you mean yet to deliver? I mean, yet to deliver Postal, right? Yet to deliver Postal. That's an excellent point. But I will say this. I've been glazing flat to VR quite a bit in recent episodes of Gamescast Live. Right? I think that they are the saviors of VR. I think that they are doing the thing that the only thing that makes sense in VR. Right? When you see all these games that look like Quest games, when you see all these games that you're just like, oh man. Even when you see the game that looked like Dredge, it's like, well, why aren't we just doing Dredge? Right? Because you know that Dredge is probably going to be a better game than was it the Lighthouse Keepers, the Light Keepers. And so doing the flat to VR thing is I think the only way that VR is going to survive the next few years until the next iteration of VR, right? Until the headsets become insanely cheap, until the hardware powering it becomes insanely powerful, right? Which I feel like we are like within 5 years of happening. And then makes, built from the ground up VR games more, easier and cheaper and less risky. Right? You get way more people into VR when it's just like you put on a headset and it's like fucking super lightweight and it's super cheap and blah, 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 the whole thing. And until that happens, I think flat to VR's got it down. I think hybrid games are the way forward. But the one thing I'll say about flat to VR is like, whoa, what are we talking about? What are we talking about Postal for so far out? I know there was a Kickstarter, right? And so it's like, okay, maybe you got to talk about it because you're doing the Kickstarter stuff. It was a Kickstarter, right? Am I making that up? I don't think I'm making that up. I think I remember seeing it like blew past its Kickstarter goals like very, very soon. Here, we can watch something other than Flat Out. And so, but like they also showed Poppy Playtime, right? VR. They've shown a bunch of things. They, even Flat Out, right? The initial flat out reveal, like, bro, maybe we don't need to know about this stuff until you're way closer, you know. And I'm saying like 6 to 8 months away from finishing the game, because I feel like you're just getting yourself in trouble. Because, you know, how much cooler would it be if we had never heard of Poppy Playtime VR? Well, we've heard of Poppy Playtime. I've got the trilogy on Switch. But how cool would it be if we hadn't heard about that game? We didn't even know it was coming. And then on the Without Parole showcase, you see Poppy Playtime and you're like, what the fuck? Poppy Playtime? And then you also find out that it's coming out in November or something like that, or Q1 2027, something along those lines, right? It's just like by the time you see Poppy Playtime again, or even Postal again, you'd be like, yeah, we know about this. Oh, release date? Good. Finally, thank God. Right? And so in knowing how many contracts Flat to VR has and how many games they're working on simultaneously, it's like, I get it, right? They've got a lot of projects and you've got to kind of balance them and work on some and this one and that one and hold off on this one until a little bit later. And it's crazy. Right, they're a busy studio. They've already put out more games on PSVR 2 than any other single studio has put out on PSVR 1 or PSVR 2 combined. Right, so they are absolutely killing it. But it's like I think they should just when they get the license for something, when they sign a contract to do something, it's like we don't need to hear about it right away. I think, at least, right, because it diminishes the excitement when you go a year without hearing anything new. So I'm with you on that, Judge Dredd. However, I think in all other aspects, they are absolutely killing it. I think they're delivering a ton of content. And I think if it wasn't for them, that we'd really be struggling. And I think the next year we would be struggling without them as well. Social Destruct said, no, Forefront VR 2 release is exhausting. I don't think they give a crap about VR 2. Why is that the case, Social Destruct? Why is that? Oh, we didn't hear about anything today, so they must not care about PSVR 2. Why is that the case? It's patience, man. Patience. We know that Forefront is coming. We know that it's coming out later this year. That's all good news to me. Like, I don't until they're ready to announce a release date, I don't need to see Forefront again. I just don't, you know? And so I'm not concerned in the slightest about that. And again, I feel like we had this exact conversation before the show started. Reading through the Reddit post from Jamie Feltham, he's talking about, why don't we see more PSVR 2 games at these shows? Why don't we see more games with the PSVR 2 logo at the end of them? And it's because they don't fucking know. And as a studio who's already been through the certification process with Sony going through with Breachers, well then fucking, if anybody knows, they know. Right? They know that if they can't announce a release date right now, because who the fuck knows? Especially with the multiplayer, I'm assuming it's going to have cross-platform play, right? And we know that cross-platform play on PlayStation is half impossible and time-consuming and expensive. And so, like, I say we give them a break. We give them a break because the last thing they want to do is announce a release date and then go, oh shit, we didn't mean September 1st. We meant November 30th. Oh shit, we actually meant 2027. Hold on. That's way more annoying. Right? That's way more annoying than developer going radio silent. So, you can have the Ace of Thunder model where they give you updates every fucking month, and here's a new clip, and here's a new thing here's a new mode, and coming soon, we promise, coming soon, 2 years later, it's almost here, right? Or you can have, and I prefer this method, right? I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think the best game that ever got announced then released from a marketing standpoint was Fallout 4. Fallout 4 got announced, and 4 months later it was out. I mean, that was before my hype level could even die down. My collector's edition had shown up in the mail, right? And so I think, so you got to choose your battles. Which one would you rather have? Would you rather be irritated at them for one reason or irritated at them for another reason? There's no winning. Anyway, what do you guys think? Decent show? I thought it was an okay show. Nothing really jumped out and really excited me. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I did see Kisnell in the chat say, do you think Sony is taking announcements for a PSVR 10th anniversary event? I mean, you would hope. You would hope. You would hope that all of the silence about PSVR 2 coming from Sony isn't permanent. That they at least recognize. What's up, Ronan? What's up, Ronan Game Studio? Huh? He's like, shit show as always. He's like, my game wasn't shown, so it's gotta be garbage. Is that the mentality? I'm just giving you a hard time. Listen, I really hope that we see some kind of acknowledgement on October 13th. Right? That's only less than 4 months away. I hope we see an announcement on October 13th from Sony saying, celebrating 10 years of PlayStation VR. I don't know if we'll even see that. They don't like to acknowledge that they even have a VR headset. And so I think, we putt quietly along. And rely on third party support and third parties to even promote the stuff. Right? And me being one of those people. So, wait, who's saying sorry, Brian? Astro in the chat says it was bad. Sorry, Brian, but it was bad. Listen, I was fucking bored for half of it. I'm not trying to say that this thing was good, right? It was mostly titles that I either knew about or we all knew about, or titles that I just didn't care about, right? So. But yeah, I don't know. I'd probably be around like a 4 out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Some decent titles, I think, but nothing that really, really spoke to me. Nothing I was excited about. So, I'm not defending it. Anybody who did have games that they were excited for, then I'm super happy for you. Right, but that's the good thing about this, that there were plenty of games in different genres, and so I'm sure there was kind of something for everybody, or for some of us, nothing for any of us. So, I don't know. Hopefully the August showcase. Hopefully that'll have a few more PSVR 2 titles. Hopefully that'll have a few more bangers, more exciting things to jump up and down about, but. Yeah, not too much here for me this time around. Geckoman11, the game cat with the €5, said, finally have a bit of money and I can send a tip. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks to all you do. Decent showcase. Hopefully a lot of the games will come to PSVR 2 in the future. Yep. Don't forget, guys, you can come join our Discord. You can get behind some of these Game Cat ops that we have going on. Again, some of them seem like they're going very well. Some of them, the feedback from some of these studios that we've made a lot of noise for have been, they've been very receptive to it. And so it'll be interesting because there are going to be games. There are already games that only exist on PSVR 2 because of you guys, because of all the noise that we've made collectively. And there are going to be more games in the future with the same story. So let's make sure we don't give up hope. Let's make sure that we keep fighting the good fight and doing whatever we can to get games that we want on PSVR 2. It takes a lot of people, you guys. It takes work, right? We have to work together and show them that there's basically, we need every single voice that we have to go make noise. And then sometimes we get what we want, which is crazy. So, I think Rustmorn will be the next one that we get an announcement for. So, it sounded like some of you guys were interested in hanging out and watching a stream of The Adventures of Elliot. So stay tuned. I'll be announcing that soon enough. As soon as the cart shows up, I'll get my streaming set up and ready to go. I gotta play through some games on the flat screen to soothe my mind, right? To massage my smooth brain. It's gonna be good. But we're also in for a slow summer, so be prepared. We're gonna mix things up a little bit, have some fun while we're waiting for some of the bigger things to happen. That doesn't mean I don't care about VR. It just means I'm gonna keep myself entertained and focus on some of the things I'm excited about in the meantime, right? We are all human beings with lots of interest, each and every one of us. VR does not define any one of us as a person. So let's not let it. That's probably a good note to go out. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching this with me. We'll see you tomorrow. Wes and I will be here for Gamescast. Have a great night, everybody. We love you all.